Have you experienced the awesome power of the Panasonic Real 3DO system? Obviously.
Presenting 3DO, the most advanced home gaming system in the universe. It's time to put away your toys.
3DO from Panasonic, Gold Star, and Creative Labs. A new low price and free games.
Mind-blowing graphics of Panasonic Real 3DO. 3DO.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the 3DO Experience, the 3DO retrospective podcast, where we talk about all things 3DO, the company, the console, and everything in between. I am Bill, and this is Threk. How you doing, Threk?
I don't know. I think I may have just cut myself on a fingernail clipper. But other than that, I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I went to a pickle convention over the weekend.
I'm jealous.
I ate pickle fudge. It was a thing.
Did you save me some? I would like to try that.
I don't know if it would make it all the way over to Ohio, to be perfectly honest.
If you want to try, be my guest. I'll let you know.
That shit was rank opening it. Like fresh. So I have no idea what that trip would be like. Oh.
If it gets me sick, I won't sue you. I swear.
Oh boy. But yeah, it's been a week. I was gonna say it's been a while, but no, it's been a week since we last recorded.
Another week. We're wrapping up July. It is still hot as balls out here. It's supposed to cool down in a few days, but I'll believe it when I feel it. Like I kind of burnt my finger on the seatbelt after work today. That's the kind of heat we're talking.
So I was even better. I burnt my finger on the steering wheel.
See, I bought an amazing thing that I've been trying to show to people. It's called an umbrella sun shield. So you know those like sun shields people put on the in there to prevent from the sun, but it's an umbrella. So you open it like an umbrella in there, and it it makes a nice like form fit against the windshield. So less stuff comes in, and yeah, because of that, I was actually able to drive my car as soon as I got in it. So I recommend everybody get one of those. Seriously, game changer, absolute game changer.
Nice. Oh man. Speaking of cars, I had to get emissions tests today. That was fun.
Oh, for some reason, I was like, emission test. What the fuck is that?
That's Connecticut's way of being like, we don't have state inspections, but you have to pay us $20 every 2 years for them to say your car is safe to drive.
Yeah, who needs that, right? Who needs state inspections?
It's better. I mean, a lot of those are bullshit half the time anyways, but
I imagine those your go-to are much better.
I mean, when I was in Mass, it was like if you knew a guy, you could always pass. So
exactly, you're just proving my point, dude.
I mean, at least in Connecticut, it's like at least they're kind of upfront. It's like $20. We'll test your car, and then we'll leave you alone for 2 years. And you don't need a sticker or anything.
We'll give it a sniff, and if it doesn't smell bad, you're good. You get a pass.
Pretty much. I mean, it is possible to fail apparently, but your car needs to be like butt old, I guess, to like fail. So.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. There's like emissions regulations, but if I know anything about what's going on right now, who gives a fuck about government regulations, right?
Yeah. But yeah. Not a ton has happened in gaming news.
There's been some stuff, not a huge amount in terms of quantity, but there are two things that happened that are, I think, qualitative, and that I think they're worth chatting about. But before we get to those, we'll tackle some of the lighter stuff I saw. First thing, Atari is acquiring Thunderful for around 4.5 million euros. I think that's euros. So I had never heard of Thunderful Group. And looking through this, I still really don't know much about them, but apparently they own studios in Gothenburg, Karlshamn, Malmo, and Skutgård. So I think they're like an Eastern European, like, publishing, developing arm, I guess. They're known for the SteamWorld games, because I think they're the company that like bought the dev that made SteamWorld. I think, though from what I've heard, the SteamWorld may be in some trouble, but that's that's not neither here nor there. stuff like The Gunk and Curse to Golf and some other stuff. I mean, that's cool to see. I mean, it's crazy to think we're in an era of Atari like rising up again. You know, that they're making waves. Like they own Digital Eclipse, they own Night Dive, they own now Thunderful. Like they're buying some of these smaller teams that are known for like doing other things. A lot of it more kind of archival stuff and attaching their name to it. Like it's so weird going to Atari's website and seeing them advertise the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. You know,
Yeah, I know.
Because Digital Eclipse is doing it and Atari owns it.
I mean, it's technically Atari's so confusing now because technically it's Atari Grams, but
they're calling themselves Atari, so I'm just calling them Atari.
Yeah,
you know, I'll call them by their preferred name. It's okay.
It's actually really weird too because like they're advertising Mortal Kombat, which is formerly Midway, which is where like the real Atari kind of ended up. So
yeah, it all kind of comes around, you know.
A weird full circle kind of thing. Because technically, I think the remains of what was once Atari is somewhere in Warner Brothers now. So
I think so, yeah. And then that Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, I think its release date got leaked the other day. It's coming out at the end of September, which honestly feels about right for that anyway. So I'll be playing that day one because I love me some Mortal Kombat. Let's see. So if y'all remember, Suicide Squad came out, right? That was a big old flippity
sure
flop.
Did.
It was a big old flippity flop. You would think Warner Brothers would go, maybe we shouldn't make another live service game.
Wait, you don't want to play a video game where you can kill Batman?
Well, apparently they're making another fucking live service.
Except it's not Rocksteady this time. It's WB Montreal, which is so much better. They're known for all their bangers, right? No disrespect to Montreal. Like I think Arkham Origins is overhated. I do. But like Gotham Knights, from what I heard, was not really it. Yeah.
So,
it's like that's like one of those games I put in the category of so okay, it's average.
I didn't play it. Even when it came to Game Pass, I didn't play it. So
I messed around with it. I was like, it's fine. And I was like, but I don't like it really. And I just got
But I find it crazy that they're doing another live service game. It says based on one of the iconic IPs from the vast Warner Brothers and DC Comics catalog. So it's not necessarily another DC one, but even still, it's like why would you? It feels like 99% of the live service games that have come out within the last 5 to 8 years have flopped like massively, or they just didn't catch on. So
because they're oversaturating with them so bad right now.
There's way too many of them, and the ones that are successful because they're like platforms that you just like. That's just like you just play Fortnite. You know what I mean? And Fortnite has so much fucking content on. I think now isn't it doing like a kart racer or something now, like a racing game?
Fortnite is like getting really close to basically just being like Roblox, where it's like a game making platform.
Yeah, point. So it's like. So people who are ingrained in that, it's like, why would they ever leave? You know what I mean? To a degree. So yeah, it's gonna flop. It's gonna fucking flop. I can already see it happening. Like it's so hard. It was so hard to break into that market anyways, and now it's even harder.
Oh yeah.
You know? So I don't know how you do it. I just don't know what Warner Brothers is really doing, to be honest. I mean, I'm hoping that new Batman Arkham thing that Rocksteady's working on, I hope it turns out good, but time will tell when we see that and what it'll be. And maybe Arkham World is real. If they call it Arkham World, that would be amazing.
I want that to happen just so the fucking Batman Arkham subreddit.
Oh my God, they would light up like a fucking Christmas tree.
They'll have their moment of clarity where they'll actually talk about it, and then they'll go back to being a bunch of fucking psychopaths again.
That subreddit is fun.
It is a shit show, but it is the most entertaining shit show you'll ever watch.
You watch it from a distance. You don't tap the glass. You just look at it, you laugh, and you move on.
Yeah.
Just let them do their thing. If it makes them happy, it makes them happy, right?
Yep.
Let's see here. So Gamescom's coming up. Right, it's coming up very soon, and of course, Xbox confirmed that they will be there as well as a bunch of other studios. But Xbox said they're going to show off like the ROG Ally, and I think pre-orders for that open in about a month. And they're going to, have a bunch of games to show off with it and all that stuff. And one of the games is Power Wash Simulator 2 is going to be there. Very excited. I hope that comes out this year. I'm ready for that game. I'll pay $70. I don't care. But the big game that all the lamos care about is Hollow Knight Silksong is going to be there.
Oh boy.
Well, it's about time.
Good for that. The fans. I tried Hollow Knight, couldn't get into it.
Yeah, but I think it being here, like a playable demo with the ROG Ally thing and all that stuff, it says to me that it's probably coming out at some point this year. Probably September or October time, I would guess. It'll finally come out, and then I'm going to be very curious to see what people think when it comes when the rollout happens. Because it's one of those games that took so long to get here that by the time it is here, it's like, oh, well, what do we actually think?
Yeah.
It might give me a reason to try the first one again. So, because I think it's still on Game Pass, so I'd be willing to give it a try. But who knows? But also speaking of Microsoft, remember when they said The Outer Worlds 2 was going to be an $80 game? And everyone was like, don't do that. You're not Nintendo. You can't get away with that. That's true. They didn't get away with it. They moved it back down to 70.
It's amazing how easy it is to get Microsoft and Sony to bend, but like Nintendo's, their response is always really just eat shit. Like they don't care. Yeah,
basically. Well, and also people eat it up anyways.
Well, Nintendo fans are like have Stockholm syndrome, I swear sometimes.
Yeah. Nintendo's the one that gets away with the predatory business tactics. Like nobody else can get away with it but them, which I find fascinating. But I mean, it's good that they moved it to 70 and they basically said, we're probably just going to stick with $70 games for now.
Yeah,
they're like,
probably for the better.
A lot of people theorized that it was probably because the pre-orders are really low. I believe that, especially if it's a day one on Game Pass, a lot of people are just going to wait for it there. So I'm not surprised. But it's a good thing they moved it back. It is. But of course, I've seen people open it up to other conversations about pricing, and it's like, I think people just want to go back to when everything was $60, but it's like we're never going to go back to that. We're not.
Yeah.
It just
not.
It's an unfortunate thing, And if somebody wants to pay $70 for a game, they will. Most of the time, you can wait for a sale, which is always my issue with Nintendo games being 80.
They don't go on sale.
$70+ is that they don't go on sale. Like Outer Worlds 2 would definitely go on sale at some point. Like whatever Assassin's Creed game, that'll be $80 will go on sale at some point. Madden, all that stuff. Mario Kart won't. Unless they decide to completely change course because of like sales. Like sales are down, so they have to, which I don't see happening anytime soon. They're not going to do it. So why the fuck would they?
Yeah.
Because it segues into Nintendo. They have set a U.S. launch month record at 1.6 million units. Shocker. The Switch 2 is selling really well. Who would have guessed?
Yeah, I'll get one eventually.
Well, I saw an interesting chart that was, if you look at all of the Nintendo consoles in their like launch window, they all sold about roughly this amount, right? Which is what I've been saying about Switch 2, which is it's like every Nintendo console when it launches, it sells really well because all of the fans and people rush out to buy it. The question is going to be the tail. Will the Switch 2 it's not going to have the Switch's one tail. It's just not. Like, you can't expect that. But if it has like 60% of that tail, I'd say that's pretty good. Will it be enough for their business side? Who can say? But I think they'll be okay.
As long as it's not like the Wii, which the Wii is still the most infamous one, where it's like it had that massive first half and then it just kind of petered off towards like the end.
I don't think it will, because the Switch 2 isn't nearly as gimmicky, and it's kind of building off something that people are already familiar with.
Yeah.
It's just going to be interesting to see what kind of games Nintendo makes for it throughout the generation. Donkey Kong Bonanza came out, and people are really they like it. It's really good, which is great because I had heard some people say it wasn't good. So
See,
I'm
my-
glad.
my
I'm glad it's a
favorite-
good game.
My favorite description of it I saw was someone had described it as it's like Mario Odyssey if you mixed it with Red Faction Gorilla, where you can just destroy
Yeah.
the environment. Which I was like,
That's perfect for Gorilla. Yeah.
it is, because like I've always wanted another game like Red Faction Gorilla, where like because the environmental destruction in that game is still like one of the best things in gaming.
I would say
Um,
Battlefield Bad Company 1 and 2 have similar destruction, but it's a different type of game.
Yeah, but when I heard it was essentially like everyone was like, it's Mario Odyssey, but like you break shit, and I was like, you have me interested. I'm like, because I've heard like the general consensus is everyone's like, it's a good game, but it doesn't have that same like staying power that Odyssey did, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be curious to see because eventually I'll get my hands on it. So I'll let you all know when I get there. I did play a Switch 2 demo kiosk the other day just because I happened to be around one. So I picked up the new Joy Cons and the Pro controller and messed with them a little bit. Played a bit of Donkey Kong Bonanza. The little bit I played of it, I'm like, oh, this could be fun. You know, it didn't give me the same joy that Odyssey did, but I only played it for like 10 minutes. So you know, who
Odyssey had
knows?
that- yeah. Well, Odyssey just had that benefit of it was so refreshing when it came out.
Yeah, yeah. It's cool to see that they're doing something like that with Donkey Kong, that they're willing to give him that kind of fresh new game and everything. And I will say the Switch 2 Pro controller and the Joy-Cons, the new Joy-Cons I like. They feel a lot better than the original ones. I
That's
think
what
just
I've heard.
just being bigger in size is a big thing. The Pro controller too, in some ways it feels better than the first one. In other ways, I'm not sure yet. But again, I only played each for like 5 minutes. So I don't have much to say outside of they didn't feel bad, but you know, I'd have to actually put a few hours into it to let you know. But yeah, Switch 2 selling. Who would have thought, right?
Yeah. Nintendo
let's-
fans bought Nintendo thing.
Ooh. Ooh. Let's see. We'll do this. I have a few Sony things. There's a few Sony things happening right now. The first one is they acquired 2.5% of Bandai Namco. So if you guys remember a while ago, they acquired that one company that had a majority stake in FromSoft. I can't
Yes.
remember their name, but I think it was more for like the anime stuff because of Crunchyroll. And
Oh,
everything.
Kandasha. Yeah, Kandasha.
Kandasha, yeah. But now they've acquired 2.5% of Bandai Namco. Which for some reason I thought Nintendo had a small stake in them, but I could be wrong about that. I think I am. I think it's just Nintendo and Bandai Namco work together a lot. But let's see. According to this, Sony also owns about 14% of FromSoft, 5% of Devolver Digital, 4.9% of Epic Games, and 4.98% of Bilibili, Chinese media publisher. I don't know. So it just seems that they're kind of, you know, spread themselves out a little bit.
Yeah, it's more
Mhm.
probably I always think of this as they're just kind of buying stock, basically.
Yeah, which a lot of other companies do. It's nothing crazy.
Because I saw some people online making way bigger a deal out of this than it was, and I'm like,
That
this
that
guy-
doesn't seem like that big of a deal. It really
guys,
doesn't.
it's 4%. Like, calm
Like
down.
that's not much, really.
It's not
it-
Microsoft buying Activision. That's a
Exactly. It's not the same at all. But it kind of lines up with Sony having Namco do like the Patapon and Everybody's Golf, like ports and everything. So maybe a part of this is them aligning with Bandai Namco for some of their more Japanese IP to have them kind of handle like revivals for it potentially because they close all their Japan studios, right? So maybe it's them looking at Bandai Namco and thinking, oh, they could, you know, take this kind of like the Japanese stuff we have left over and they could do something with it potentially.
well, actually, yeah. The only studio left is Polyphony.
Well, there's also Asobi that did
Well,
Astrobot.
Asobi's like the remains of Japan Studio.
Yeah, and they're just probably just gonna be doing Astrobot now.
Yeah,
And then Polyphony just does Gran Turismo.
Gran Turismo and racing stuff, which is fine.
Do they do anything else other than Gran Turismo?
They made Omega Boost.
Is that recent?
No, that was during the PS1 era.
I was
And
gonna
it was-
say that well, because they had that fucking kart racer before Gran Turismo, and I'm like, yeah, but that was like way long ago.
they
I was saying,
made
like, recently, did they do like a random thing we don't know about? Like, did they co-develop fucking Resistance? Probably not.
so the story behind Omega Boost is basically they had a whole bunch of team members from Team Andromeda, the studio behind Panzer Dragoon, had come over to
Yep.
Polyphony, and basically their one like thing they wanted to do before they became slaves to racing games for the rest of their time is they wanted to make, essentially, we have Panzer Dragoon at home.
Yeah.
Which was Omega Boost, which was essentially it was Panzer Dragoon with mechs, and it's a good game.
That's an interesting idea.
It looks great. It's fun. It has Static X music for some reason, which is kind of fun.
That's interesting.
I mean, it was the '90s. It makes sense.
Very road rash of them.
Yeah, but they made that, and then they literally made nothing but Gran Turismo and like an occasional other racer. Like they made Taurus Trophy on the PS2, which was just Gran Turismo with bikes.
I would love to see Polyphony make like a weird like action game or like a fucking strategy RPG or just something completely different.
Something. I mean,
I think it'd be interesting, but
you could make the argument that Gran Turismo is technically an RPG.
Oh, a car RPG, yeah.
Gran Turismo is a weird game. Gran Turismo like hits that like dopamine for people the same way like Forza does, where it's just like this is just fun for some reason.
Yeah, but by the same token, like Playground, who does Forza Horizon, are working on Fable. But would Polyphony ever work on like, I don't know, fucking Siphon Filter? Probably not. It'd be cool. I think people would be really interested in seeing Polyphony do a non-racing game. But is it a case of they've been around so long and that's all they've been doing? Could they even make another game?
I mean, considering how long
I think they could.
They probably could, but considering how long it takes them just to make Gran Turismo, like
I think they're probably working on 8 right now, and that'll probably be on the PS6 in like 5-6 years.
Yeah, because like the one time they got somewhat different was Gran Turismo Sport. And even then, that still wasn't super out there.
Mm-hmm.
So,
who knows?
You can race a DeLorean in 4, though. So
that's always cool.
There's that.
Yeah, I need to play more of the PS2 Gran Turismos because I think that was, from what I've gathered, that was kind of the peak of the series. It was like
3
and
then. 4 are
really
good. 5 is also good if you can get past. It's kind of getting in. It's not even janky. It's just getting into it takes forever because they got way too extreme.
It's kind of like with Forza Motorsport. Its peak was about 3 or 4. Depending on who you ask. Those games are still great. Let's see. Still with Sony. They apparently are suing Tencent because I guess Tencent are working on a game called Light of Motriam. I don't know. But you look at this game. And my first thought was, this looks like you said to an AI generator, make a Horizon game. And they made Light of Motriam. So that's why Sony is suing them. Apparently, Tencent had approached Sony a couple years ago about I almost said Horizon. I don't know. A Horizon live service game. And apparently they were working on it, but Sony ended up declining it.
Probably because they've been snake bitten by the live service games so much.
Honestly, probably. But it looks like Tencent were like, well, we have all this stuff that we've been working on with this game. Because it says to me that maybe they agreed and started developing it for a bit or something, maybe. I don't know. But they're like, we have all this stuff. Why don't we just make a game with it? And they just kind of made a game with it. Probably not thinking that, no, Sony's not going to say anything. Apparently they are. Like they have filed a lawsuit in California for, like copyright infringement or whatever. So we'll see what happens. I'm kind of two minds of it. Like on the one hand, you look at it and it's like, it's pretty fucking blatant. Like it is a red-haired protagonist in a lush world with like animal monsters, and they kind of have the humans have like a tribal thing going on, and it's like a third person action adventure. Like it's very clear what it's trying to be. Like it's obvious, right? So I get why Sony would go after it. My other issue is the whole kind of slippery slope thing, because I think this kind of ties into the whole Nintendo going after Power World. Like it has that same kind of stink to it, where it's like sure. I mean, but I think Nintendo had less of a leg to stand on with Power World. Like there really isn't that much there. I've played a bit of Power World. It does not play like Pokemon at all.
Aside
Not even
from
close.
a few of like the character designs, which I guess they have changed since then. It's like it was.
Well, and the
they're
problem
not
was
the same.
And the problem was Nintendo was like rewriting like patents to include like game mechanics while they were suing them to try to have more of a leg to stand on, which is really scummy and gross, right? Where it's just the only thing I'm worried about is if this lawsuit is successful on Sony's side, does it start a slippery slope of companies going after other companies for making games that like, oh, this is kind of like our thing or whatever, you know? It's something I'm worried about, you know, because as they always say, it depends, but it's like, where do you draw the line? And then that line's going to get blurred at some point. You know what I mean?
This is like a recurring thing with Sony, I swear. Maybe not to this degree, but I remember like there was like
they're not as bad as Nintendo.
No, it's not even the Sony like suing part. It's more like the other companies like making like really half-assed like rip-offs of Sony like franchises. Like because there was that Uncharted rip-off that Scott the Woz covered that's like hilariously awful.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Did Sony go after that? I thought it was just nobody gave a shit.
That one was so bad that I don't think it really mattered.
There was that Last of Us thing on Switch. That one was kind of funny because you could tell it was just a company trying to just throw something together to trick people, you know. Whereas like this is Tencent. Like I think as far as gaming companies go by revenue, they're number one above everybody just because they own so much shit.
I think that's more the reason than anything. It's just because this is actually
because it's a big company and it looks like Tencent's putting a lot of effort into it, you know. And what's interesting is I believe Sean Layton works at Tencent. So it's like, you know, I mean, I'm sure he's going to take Tencent's side because that's who writes his checks now. So, but I just thought that was curious, but I'll keep track of this because I'm curious to see where this goes. You know, I get it. Blatant ripoffs are like not good, but it's like if we're going to go after people for ripping things off, it's like, you know, where does this go? You know, because then certain things will happen. That's like, oh, come on, guys. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't want it to get bad at all. You know, and it kind of ties into another topic, which I'm going to get to in a second. Because before that, I think this happened over the weekend. I don't know if you saw this or not, Bill, but there was a job listing at Sony that basically says that like, hey, we need like a multi-platform like account manager to help put our games on everything, basically.
I saw that
PC, Xbox, Nintendo, mobile, all that stuff. And a lot of people, like, it became a thing, right?
Of course it did.
And I mean, I saw it and just went, okay. I mean, I thought the moment that like, oh, Sony was going to start putting stuff on PC. They're putting stuff on Switch. Now Helldivers 2 is coming to Xbox. It's like they're doing the same multi-plat strategy that Microsoft was doing. They're just being slower about it. But this just says it's like, yeah, they're going to do it. Like, it's like, I imagine Horizon will probably be on Xbox at some point now, right?
I guarantee they were kind of waiting to see how the Microsoft stuff worked out, and now that they've assessed that, they're kind of like, okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if they looked at like if you look at the best-selling games on PlayStation 5 this year, number one is Forza Horizon 5.
Which
a fucking Microsoft game.
Well, it makes sense because there's a lot of Sony purists who were like never got to play that game, and they were like, "Oh, it's a thing now. We can try it."
Yeah, like I bet you there was a lot of weird like fanboys who are like Xbox games are terrible who bought that game and are loving it. And it's like, yeah, they make a game. But regardless of that, I think Sony probably saw that and went, "We could probably do the same." Like, sure, Xbox has a smaller install base, but like, imagine like Horizon, Spider-Man, God of War, Last of Us, whatever, coming out on Xbox. People would fucking buy that. I think it would be like, it would cause enough of a stir. I think we'd be like, oh, fuck yeah. Like, I'd buy most of that.
It's
Why not?
it's literally we're finally getting to that point I've talked about where the walls of exclusivity are going to kind of go away. And it's
Yeah,
literally going to be just a case of like, do you prefer this controller or that controller or this
yeah,
interface or that interface?
yeah. We're at a point now where companies they're just worried about making money at the end of the day, and they're seeing the potential in putting their game in as many places as possible in order to maximize revenue and profit
Hmm.
potential, right?
I'm sure it'll be kind of like a case of kind of like what Microsoft's doing, like similar to how like the Indiana Jones game was, where it'll come to Sony first,
Yeah.
and then like maybe a few months later it'll come to Xbox and Nintendo.
Oh, yeah. I don't expect like day and date or anything like that, at least not yet. I just see it as they're looking at the success that other companies have been doing with the multi-platform approach, and they're just going, fuck it, why don't we do it? I mean, when you're at a point where like selling 10 plus million copies of your own first party game isn't enough to break even or even make enough of a profit, I think there are more issues with the industry. I think that says more about the industry than anything else, really. But I like people have tried to say it's gonna like harm the industry putting first party games everywhere. I really don't. I think it'll be fine. People are trying to make a mountain out of a mole. To me, that's just a lot of fanboy talk. Just being like, how dare you didn't buy the plastic box I bought? So like these handful of games you're not allowed to play because fuck you. And it's like, who really gives a shit? And some people are trying to say it's just live service games. And I'm like, the same way Xbox said it was just 4 games. That was obviously a lie. Like it's just going to be more and more. Like the way it's going, I have a feeling in like it'll probably be a good while from now, but I could see Nintendo doing this. It'll take a long time.
That one's going to be
a harder.
Happen. That's going to be a harder wall to crumble, but it could happen.
I don't view it out of the realm of possibility. I really don't.
If they do though, they're gonna do it in the stupidest way possible.
Oh, absolutely. Of course.
This is how Nintendo.
It'll be like 2035. They'll put Breath of the Wild on Steam for $80 and people will fucking buy it.
No.
Like we already know that's what's going to happen.
Mario 1 for like 20.
Yeah, something really fucking stupid. So
Nintendo.
Yeah. But my guess is with Sony doing this, they'll probably be slower and more strategic about it. Like they'll probably see how well Helldivers 2 does on Xbox, and then they'll be like, okay, what are we going to do next? They'll be a lot more, I think, slow about it, which I think is the right way to go about it, right?
I think they'll look at like game sales. Like if they have a game that like is like selling extremely well, they'll probably push that onto the other systems.
Or they might look at a game like, say, Spider-Man. That's probably reached its max sales potential on PlayStation and probably to an extent PC. And they're like, if we put it on Xbox, that opens up a whole new avenue of sales.
It'll help
and they've already ported it to PC. So they've done some of the port work. I know it's not like a copy and paste thing, but port work isn't for like PlayStation, PC, and Xbox. It's not as complicated as it used to be because they're all very similar in architecture. So I imagine the port job wouldn't cost a great amount of money either. So, one day I could very well see Spider-Man coming to Xbox, and some people will uproar about it, and I'll just be like, I'll buy it and play it. I've always wanted to play that game, so.
Yeah.
I know we'll hear from Will. I will. But the last thing, speaking of the slippery slope I was mentioning, it's this whole thing happening right now. I think it was starting last week, but it's getting worse now, and that is...
Oh, is this the itch.io Steam thing?
Yes. I've been looking into it, and this is bad. So itch.io and Steam recently got pressure from a bunch of the credit card payment companies like MasterCard and Visa and all that to pull certain adult themed games from their store, or else they were going to pull their services from them. And that's how they operate, right? So they bent the knee to the pressure, which some people got mad at them for bending the knee to the pressure, and it's like, I get that, but like that's their fucking livelihood. Like imagine if you went to Steam and were like, you couldn't buy games on it. You know what I mean? So So basically, this is all being done by the work of a group called Collective Shout, who
Yes.
are some like their whole thing is like, oh, we want to like protect people. It's let me go to their fucking website so I can quote them directly, so I don't get any shit. I mean, I doubt they're listening to this, but just in case. Let's see. About. We are a grassroots campaign movement against the objectification of women and the sexualization of girls. Is for anyone concerned about the increasing pornification of culture and the ways its messages have become entrenched in mainstream society, presenting distorted and dishonest ideas about women and girls, sexuality, and relationships. Since our launch in 2010, we have achieved many wins. Billboards objectifying women pulled down, sexualized children's clothing withdrawn for sale, sexually violent games banned, Andrew Tate's pimping courses removed from Spotify, and an age verification trial underway to help protect kids from exposure to pornography. Last year, we saw a record 34 wins. This was all possible because thousands of people just like you decided to speak out and take action. Okay, so this all just screams to me, this is another right-wing fucking Christian group who are like, sex and porn are evil. We need to like protect the kids, as they always say, protect the kids, right? So that means in order to protect the kids, they're going to prevent fully grown legal adults from accessing content that they want to view. That's basically what they're doing. And sure, some of those games that they banned, sure, they might have been smutty and kind of gross and weird. That's fair, right?
The initial Steam ban, the way that they did it made them look better than the itch one did, because the Steam one was like mostly targeting like assault games, which the fact that those exist is kind of fucked up. I didn't even realize that.
Again, I understand. I do. Like, the problem with a lot of these advocacy groups is they make certain
stop.
Exactly. Like, they'll make points that most people are like, yeah, that's fair. Like seeing them say like, oh, we, told Andrew Tate to fuck off. Like, good. That's a good thing. He's a piece of shit. But as you said, Bill, the problem is, where does that line go? And it's I don't know if I'd said they're Christian, but they are Christian, because a lot of the games that got pulled had the LGB tag on it. Games that weren't necessarily sexual in nature at all, but like say were made by queer developers or had queer characters in them and all of that. And these people don't fucking like that because they view anybody who isn't hetero, their existence as purely sexual. Like the fact a gay person exists, they only view them in a sexual context, which says a lot more about them than it does the gay person, right? So it's just going to get worse and worse. And apparently on itch, the game mouthwashing got pulled from searches. Like, you can't search it. You can find it if you have the link, but if you search it, it doesn't pop up. And from what I know, I have not played the game yet. I really do. It's still on my Steam wish list, and I may have to buy it, otherwise it'll disappear. Is that game doesn't have anything like sexual or anything in there. Like, sure, there might be some weird content in there, but it's a horror game, right? Mm-hmm. But it's like, you know what I mean? It's pretty bad. And apparently, I didn't know there's this International Games Developer Association. I don't know who this is. I don't know if they have any pull, but seeing certain people, like certain things starting to come out of the woodwork and be like, oh, we don't like this. This seems really bad. Hopefully that means that this stuff eventually stops. Like I get Steam and itch bending the knee because they're worried about it, right? Because apparently this fucking grassroots group has power within Visa and fucking MasterCard.
Yeah.
To the point that they can like pressure them to do this stuff, which is so weird to me. Because if you're under the age of 18, I don't think you can get a fucking Visa or MasterCard on your own. I think you need like a parent's permission. I could be wrong on that, but
I have no idea these days. But as far as I know, I don't.
Let me check real quick. Can you get a Visa or MasterCard if you're under 18? Let's see. According to the Google AI, it says no. Discover.com says no, a minor can't get a credit card on their own. blah 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 blah. So yeah, you can't get a credit card unless
Yeah.
if you're under the age of 18. Debit cards, I mean, debit cards are kind of like tied to your bank account, but like
Yeah, that's different.
but I think it's if you have a bank account, you're under the age of 18, like it needs to be connected to another bank account, I think. So again, it's like there's already protections in place for this shit, you know. But at the end of the day, you know as well as I do, in the internet age, you just cannot get rid of pornography. You can't do it, you know. The only line of defense is the parents, you know. Like me, I have a son, right? And I would have to put in specific protections on the devices I have. So if he accesses them, he can't see that shit. That's up to me to do. That is not up to like the creators of those sites or the creators of the content or whatever to do that for me because I'm a lazy shit. Like, no, that's on me. And whenever these advocacy groups try to say like, oh, it's up to Steam to do this or whatever, it's like, no, it's not. No, it's not. And I found something interesting today about the group, the leader of this thing. I think her name's, I forget her name already, but somebody had found on Amazon, she wrote a book about how pornography ruined her marriage. And I feel that says everything. So, yeah, that was a lot more than I expected to say about this. But seeing that, I'm like, I don't like that. I'm not a fan of smut. I'm not a fan of that gross shit. There's a lot of like gross adult content that does objectify women and even men as well. You know,
yeah, that's the thing that they always tend to ignore. It's like it goes both ways.
But women get objectified a lot more.
It's significantly larger, but
yeah, and of course all the stuff that like fetishizes LGBT people and certain types of like women and men and body shape and race and all this other stuff. Like there's a lot there, right? And sure, if you want to like steer that in a more positive direction, I think you can do it. But if anybody says they're like an anti-sex feminist, I don't trust you. I'm sorry, I don't. I know, man, but like I'm a sex positive person. I'm a pro sex worker person, and like just trying to like hurt these people's livelihood or say what they're doing is terrible doesn't help. It just doesn't help.
Like Moist Critical did a whole video on this thing. That's how I learned about it.
Yeah.
He made a good point saying like, what happens where does the goalpost end? Like
exactly,
literally like when do they target the M rating? Like when's that? Like
exactly.
That's where this is going.
And also what happens if they target Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo?
Yeah.
Like granted, they don't have as much. I don't really think they have many like smutty games like Steam does. But we all know like the eShop has some iffy shit on there, right? And like, what's to say they try to go after Nintendo? Like, what does Nintendo do?
The thing is, Nintendo is that scary one that like, it's kind of scary to go after Nintendo because they ended a guy's fucking life basically.
True, but that was on their own. But that was on their own will.
True, but like
this would be different. But like, even still, I agree with Mort's critical. It's just like, where does the goalpost end? And with these people, there is no goalpost. Like I read their little about them on their website, and it's vague. It's vague as fuck. You know, like there's no fine line. There's no like what they want to do. Like it's just not going to work. You know, like they're gonna get some progress, but eventually they're gonna piss off the wrong person, or just like they're gonna overreach, and they're gonna fucking die.
They're gonna piss, like I said, like Nintendo, for example. Like you don't mess with the big end because the big end has a lot of people in higher places.
I could see the big end pulling some of that weird shit off the eShop. I could see them doing it, thinking, oh, that's all we have to do, get them off our backs, you know.
When it affects their bottom line, though, that's when that's when things will change. And if it's when they take it too far, which I can see.
But at the same token, I could see like Valve like reaching a breaking point if they keep going after like Steam and all that. I think I could see a point where Gabe just says no, like you've crossed the line. This is too far, you know.
Yeah.
Like here, let me be sure mouthwashing is still on Steam. Let me check. Because the thing I saw, it said it was just itch. But let me just check. Okay, it is still up on Steam. Thank goodness. At least for now. So I may just have to panic buy this just to be on the safe side. It's only $13 though. I mean, I already heard it was a good game, but yeah, that stuff really worries and scares me because as our country descends more and more into fascism, this is just one example of that, So I don't like it.
Yeah, it's definitely something I'm gonna keep an eye on and hope for the best. That's kind of all we can do right now.
Yeah. So yeah, we're ending the news on a positive note.
We can talk about one other thing though.
Oh yeah, I meant to throw that in there. Go, Bill.
Okay, I'm not sure if we're talking about the same thing, but we got new Nintendo Music today or recently.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna play the game because it ties into our next thing. It was Mario Paint.
Yes. Because Mario Paint is on NSO, baby. It shadow dropped there last night. I don't know if y'all seen the trailer for it, but it's a fun trailer. Like it's a good time. The guy who did the voiceover, you could tell he was loving it, having a good time. And yeah, it's cool. I saw one person get mad because they're like, "What do you mean I have to plug in a mouse? Why?" And it's like, Bubby, just plug in a mouse. Like it's meant to showcase the Switch 2's mouse capabilities, of course. But with the Switch 1, it says you can just plug in a compatible USB mouse. I don't know what that means. Like I have a spare mouse. I plugged it in, worked just fine.
It probably means like it probably works with like the basic mice. It probably doesn't like one of those fucking like
trackball-y
whatever the
ones that have 40 that have like 45 buttons on them and all that.
Yeah,
Ugh,
the one that's like it looks like a tumor. You're like, what the hell is that?
I hate all those. Those are gross to me. This is all I need. I'm a simple man.
I wish I know it's probably asking for a lot, but I wish they made an adapter so I could plug in my legit like Super Nintendo mouse.
That would be cool. I'm sure somebody has made like a USB to SNES adapter. I'm sure if you look hard enough, you can find one.
Like I actually have like the legit, like it's not in good condition, but I have a boxed copy of Mario Paint.
Yeah.
And that fucking mouse pad is a fucking solid fucking.
Yeah, it's just a weird piece of like grid plastic.
Yeah, it is.
What are you doing?
It I have my Sony mouse pad here that I use for this computer.
I don't have a mouse pad. I'm a sicko.
Honestly, it doesn't do anything with the optical mouse, but I just kind of like using it.
And rollerball mice. Oh man, those did not age well at all.
I have 3 console mice. I have a Super Nintendo mouse, I have a PlayStation mouse, and then I have the Dreamcast mouse because I can play true.
You should try plugging the other 2 in there.
That'd be funny.
Go ahead. Sorry,
I was just gonna say, like with the Dreamcast mouse, I can play true mouse and keyboard on Quake 3, which is great.
Or Tapping of the Dead.
That too, or
the best game ever.
Unreal Tournament.
Yeah. So, and yeah, we got the Mario Paint music, which is great music, by the way.
It is. Speaking of the music,
the good old music creator, but also like some of those drawing board tunes. No, not that one. I like this one.
It's a chill game. Like it is such a relaxing time.
It's one of the first soundtracks composed by Tataka. And it has Tataka song in it. For those who don't know, if you're playing Mario Paint and you want to get Tataka's song, the easiest thing, just click the O in Mario Paint. It creates a bomb, everything blows up, and then you hear it. So
I love
easy peasy.
I love how obtuse they always are, like where it's hidden.
Hold on. I thought they put it in here. I thought they were like, oh, we put Tataka's thing in there. But it's maybe they didn't. Maybe they lied to me.
Maybe it's hidden. But
it might be. It actually might be. I don't know. I'd have to look for it.
What's funny though is like a lot of people. I guarantee a lot of people are gonna like nostalgically go right to the Music Maker because that's like the most long-standing thing from Mario Paint in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah. Well, there were people who made like online versions of that years ago.
Oh yeah.
You know, people
Well,
have made all kinds of shit in that.
That's the thing. Like people are gonna like go into this who have never actually played the original Mario Paint, and they're gonna think like they can do all the cool shit you can do on the online versions, and they're gonna realize how basic the original was.
Yeah, but I think those limitations can breed creativity.
They
So
can.
I think
'cause
so. I
some of
think
the-
so. We might see some cool shit out of
like
this.
the reason Mario Paint remixes like became a thing was because of just how creative like the original software was.
Yeah, and the sounds they give you are really cool. So like the cat, meow, great.
Yeah. I always remember
So-
like one of the funniest ones I ever heard was the devil went down to Georgia on Mario Paint, and like it straight up sounds just like RPG battle music. I'm like,
Yeah,
why does
yeah.
this work so well?
Like I've heard people do the AVGN theme in it. Like I have
Through
the
the Fire
Tiger
and the
by
Flames.
Survivor, Through the Fire and the Flames, all kinds of shit. And it's great.
Bohemian
So-
Rhapsody, like just basically
Yeah.
any popular
I-
song.
I can't wait to hear Mario Paint 100 Gex. That's gonna be great.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, kiddos, go find a. I'm sure you have a mouse somewhere. Plug it into your Switch and go crazy with Mario Paint. It's pretty cool. Like it's not the most advanced drawing tool or anything like that these days, but it's cool to see. And I saw some people say this mean they'll do like a new Mario Paint. And I'm like, they could, but I don't think they will. Because I think if you were going to do like a drawing thing these days, you would give people a tablet that they can draw on. You know, that's what people are used to nowadays.
Be kind of
You know?
cool. I doubt they'd ever do it, but it would be kind of cool if they released like the Mario Artist games for the 64 DD.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
It'd be
Or
really
I mean,
cool.
or they could do if they wanted to do new Mario Paint, like give you one of those like rubber stylus pen kind of things that you find, and just let you draw on the Switch screen
Hmm.
as like a tablet, as like a turn into a drawing tablet. Like that would be cool.
Hmm.
So that feels like a Nintendo thing.
Come on,
So-
Nintendo. You
yes.
like to print money? Do it.
People would buy that. Absolutely.
yeah.
Like if you like a quirky modern Mario Paint that you can just like draw on the tablet and all that stuff, people would dig the shit out of that.
Oh yeah. No, 100%.
So anyway, that was a long news segment.
Yeah, there was more that I mean there
It was
some
more
pretty-
than it was genuinely more than again, it wasn't a lot in terms of quantity, but there was I guess some qualitative stuff I wanted to bring up.
That being said though, we do have a game to cover for this episode.
Oh yeah. A good game. Spoilers.
Yeah, we're covering Total Eclipse, one of the more iconic 3DO games, I'd say.
Yeah. Whenever you look at like compilations of like 3DO games, you see this one pop up quite a bit. And I could see why, because you know it's a space shooter and space shooters are easy to make, especially back then. There was a ton of them for every console. So
It
was-
showcased the 3D too, that the 3DO was trying to show.
advertising, yeah. So this game came out in early 94.
Pretty
So-
much launch,
It
but
was
not
it was it
quite.
was launch window, I guess.
Because as we know, there was only one launch game for 3DO, and it was actually made by the same company that made this game.
Crash
Believe it or
and
not.
burn.
And I'm pretty sure these run off the same engine.
I think they do. They have that sort of a similar like feel to them, you know.
Off-World Interceptor also runs off this engine, so you can tell Crystal was reusing a lot of stuff back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. But I think they kind of had to because you know you just work with what you got, and this is definitely the era where Crystal wasn't 100% sure of their
This
identity yet.
this was their second game. Like
Yeah.
ever.
Mhm.
Crazy.
We've covered their first and their third, so now we're
Yeah.
gonna do the meat of the sandwich.
Yeah, and honestly, this was considered their first real major hit.
I
Quotation
could see
marks.
that. I could
Um,
see that. It reminds me a little bit of God, what year did Star Fox come out on Super Nintendo? Was it around the same time?
93, I want to say, so probably like the year before.
Okay, and Star Fox was a hit at the time, right? Super FX chip, 3D stuff,
Well,
all that.
Star Fox definitely had the benefit of like being like the 3D on Super Nintendo, but it also had the benefit of being a good game.
Yeah, I don't think that game's aged particularly well.
No,
So-
it definitely hasn't aged. Yeah, 93. It definitely hasn't aged gracefully. Like I think this game has aged more gracefully in
Yeah.
some regards.
Like I think this game, it's like it's kind of on rails the same way Star Fox is, right? And you just sort of navigate the field and try not to die and blow other ship up, but it's a little bit more different in that there are parts where you go underground and then there's all these hills and all this like 3D terrain you have to deal with. And then, there's much more bosses and more like well-defined objectives and just like Star Fox, it has some silly 3D in it.
It does.
Mhm.
The difference is this game went more for the 3D environments rather than the ship. The
Yes.
ship is pre-rendered, which I think actually makes it age a little better.
And its animation is smooth, like when it
It
turns
is.
and goes up or down. It's not jaggy at all.
So I looked up, the game runs at 24 frames per second, which the frame rate purist will cringe hearing that, but for 94, that was actually for
get
94
fucked.
for 94, that was actually top of the line at the time.
Well, I mean, a lot of Super Nintendo and Genesis games ran at 60.
They ran at 60, but not in 3D.
No, the 3D games were different for sure.
For early 90s 3D game, like 24 frames was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it runs better than some N64 games do.
It does. And honestly, like in terms of like smoothness, like it runs pretty smoothly. Like there's a bomb that kills everything on screen that causes the frame rate to shit the bed.
Oh, yeah. I call it the frame rate bomb.
Yeah, which is hilarious because like you're playing, you're like, wow, this frame rate's pretty good. Then you use the bomb, you're like, no, it's not.
Boom, like,
There it goes.
God, there had to
Thankfully,
be
it's
something to kill it. But I think that like 3D that explosion is like a 3D texture. So that probably explains why.
also the soundtrack in this game is fucking rocking.
It's really good.
Like, why does it rock so hard?
Yeah, because I'm sitting there, like I'm playing the game. I'm like, yeah, having a good time. I'm like, the fuck is this? This guy's going ham as shit on the guitar. They got like Satriani in here. Why does it sound like this?
So his name is apparently Burke Trishman, I think his name is. I might have butchered that. I apologize.
What a fucking name. Love that name.
And when you click on his name on Wikipedia, it brings you right to Crystal Dynamics, so he might still work there.
Well, let me check good old Movie Games. What does Movie Games say? Person?
Oh, he did Crash and Burn as well.
Let's see.
The most recent Interceptor doesn't say.
Let's see. What other games did he do as far as sound? A decent amount of stuff, actually. Let's see. He did the Horde for Saturn.
Makes sense.
Captain Quasar was him. Holy shit. Pandemonium 2, Gex 3, Army Men Air Attack, 102
Army Men Air Attack. Fuck yeah. Okay.
102 Dalmatians. The World Is Not Enough for PlayStation. PGA Tour 2002. Toe Jam and Earl 3. He did Nightfire. Fuck yeah, dude. Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure. Return of the King. The fucking Lord of the Rings game. What the shit? The Herb, Sims in the City. Secret Agent Clank. Tomb Raider Underworld. The most recent thing he did was Toe Jam and Earl Back in the Groove. If y'all remember that game.
Damn.
Yeah, but yeah, what a decently impressive like list of credits.
I enjoyed multiple of those games, so yeah.
Yeah, there's more here I didn't mention, like Pandemonium 2 and Slam and Jam with Magic and Kareem. Adventures of Batman and Robin. Fuck, dude. He did Star Control too.
Damn.
Good shit, man. But yeah, this soundtrack is great. It was a bop.
It honestly, like I joking saying like it's the best part of the game, but the game's actually super solid all around.
No, it's a fun game. It's just like an on rails like spacey shooter, but I thought it was like really fun. It was like a nice blending of action. There's some like weird maneuverability stuff that happens. Like when you go underground into those tunnels, there'll be points where you have to try to accelerate to beat like closing doors, or you'll have like shifting elements that you could crash into and all that. Like things like hit detection were kind of poor. The controls were a little bit slippery.
Yeah, they're not the best, but they're for like 94. They're passable.
Yeah, and the depth perception is weird because there'll be times where you're going like into like some like more kind of canyons and the walls get really tight. And it's like, and if you jut a little bit to the right, it's like, oh, you're right up against the wall, the rocks, and
Yeah,
you blow up. And it's like, it didn't look like it,
Yeah, it's very interesting like that. Another thing that's kind of cool too is the game uses a lot of like it's not as heavy in the pre-rendered full motion video as Crash and Burn was. There's actually more CG, and the CG for 94s, it's not bad.
I would say I think D looks a little bit better.
Fair.
Yeah, I'll give D some credit. God damn it. But because like they're basically just like, sir, you gotta take down the missiles, or else the enemy are gonna use them to blow shit up or whatever. And then it cuts to like some dude that looks like a mixture of the creature from the Black Lagoon and the Gorons from Star Trek.
Yeah, the plot is yeah. The plot is actually really something. It's the basic plot summary is Earth is attacked by an aggressive alien race known as the Draxi. The aliens use their powerful weapons, the Sun Dagger, to initiate a supernova in the sun.
I'm gonna throw a dagger at the sun, they'll blow it up.
The player must pilot their ship across 4 planets and ultimately destroy the Sun Dagger and prevent further destruction. There's also a subplot about
that's fucking awesome.
It's metal as fuck. There's also a subplot not mentioned here about they want to eat humans, which is wonderful.
Oh yeah. I vaguely remember that.
It's like such a throwaway line. It's like, oh, they want to just kill the human race. Fun.
I mean, who gives a fuck? This is like a Starblade or a Shockwave or any of the other space shooters we played, where it's like the story is it's there, but who cares? That's not where you're here for.
Yeah, it's
for. This ain't Ace Combat. You're not here for the deep storylines. You're here for the fun gameplay, and the gameplay's great. It's fun.
Like the thing, like I'm comparing it to like say like Shockwave is probably the most obvious comparison, and Shockwave is like the most like it exists like shooter ever. Like it is such a boring space shooter. We were honestly probably too nice to it in hindsight. Or like Starblade, which Starblade is visually impressive, but it's just not meant for this console.
No, that's an arcade game.
Yeah. But yeah, like this game is fun all around. I'm trying to think any other space shooters. This is probably the like I mean there's like Blade Force, but Blade Force is like a technical marvel more than anything.
Yeah, that was like a helicopter game.
Yeah.
This game it does the like on rail space shootery thing, but it's more like tailor made for a console. So like I mean it wasn't the easiest game in the world. I did not beat it.
No,
I got decently far. I think I got to the 3rd world.
Yeah, it's a surprisingly content heavy game too. Honestly, if they had just waited and made this the pack-in, they probably
it feels like a more actual like a pack-in. Like this is a game that like you're like, oh, I want to test out my new console, right? And you boot up this game that has some technical marvel to it and is a fun game to play. And you're just like, this game is my console, this is cool. And then you play it. Like Crash and Burn is so limited on content that it's like, how do you get time out of it? Total Eclipse, I see myself getting a lot of time out of it.
Interestingly, too, my copy here is a not for resale copy. I have a strange feeling that they ended up once this came out, they like immediately made this the pack-in over Crash and Burn because they were they're like, no, this is actually a game.
Like I think launching the console at late 93 was not the go. They should have waited till like early 94, or maybe like wait till like right around the holiday season 93, and then it's like, oh, our next games will be out in like a couple weeks or something like that, instead of having people wait like 3 months for the next game. That's not a good thing.
It was almost like it was too powerful when it came out in 93, and like by the time it really got momentum in 95, it was out of date.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of came out it came out too early and wasn't able to get momentum by the time it was out of date.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree. Like Total Eclipse, if you'd have packed that game in, I think it would have been a better pack-in. Because it's great. The one thing it tries to do that's like different, but I don't think it really works, is like the aileron rolls. Like you can hold one of the shoulder buttons and then do a barrel roll. That's an aileron roll, whatever. It's cool that it has that, but it doesn't really amount to anything. All it does is just kind of end up getting you killed. Like
Yeah.
I think they try to have it to where when you're in those more kind of like underground confined sections that like, oh, there's certain bits where I'm like, oh, they want me to like tilt sideways and fly through. But the way it's set up, you can't really do that. Or at least the controls aren't smooth enough to really get away with that.
Yeah. No, 100%. It's like one of those games like where it's like I understand because like we said earlier, the most obvious comparison is Star Fox.
Yeah.
And Star Fox just had like a charm to it that made it like stand the test of time, probably more than this game did.
Star Fox has frogs with machine legs.
Yes, and
you can't top that.
yeah, and a whole group of partners that are useless, basically.
Though if I'm comparing Total Eclipse to the original Star Fox on Super Nintendo, I think I'd want to play this over it.
This is definitely more visually interesting.
Yeah, like Star Fox didn't get going till 64, really.
Yeah.
And Star Fox 64 obviously clears this, but that is very unfair comparison.
Yeah.
So,
interestingly too, this game later came out on the PlayStation under the title Total Eclipse Turbo.
Yeah, and it came out like a few days before the console launched.
Yeah, it's just bizarre.
I know it's happened before. Like there are some other games that have done it, but every time they do it, it's like you're not really beating the launch, Like it feels like they're trying to get ahead of it to where, oh, people are excited. They'll like come in and be like, oh, is the PlayStation out yet? They'll be like, no, but here's a game for it. But why would anybody be like, oh, I'll buy that now? I'll be like, I'll just fucking wait till the console comes out. And I don't even know what the PlayStation 1's like launch lineup even was. But I imagine this did not really make a splash in that PlayStation 1's life.
That's the thing. It clearly didn't because actually no, never mind. That came out on PlayStation 2. I was going to say there is a sequel to this game called Solar Eclipse, which was released for the Saturn, but apparently it also had a PlayStation release in Europe. And it's called Titan Wars in Europe, apparently.
Yeah, what were the PlayStation 1's launch titles? Yeah, somebody has to know this. Let's see. PlayStation 1, the US launch titles, there were 12 of them. And actually include Total Eclipse in this. So there's Air Combat, Battle Arena Toshinden, ESPN Extreme Games, Leak, the DNA Imperative, NBA Jam Tournament Edition, Power Serve 3D Tetris, The Raiden Project, Rayman, Ridge Racer, Street Fighter the movie, the game, Total Eclipse Turbo, and Zero Divide. So if I'm looking at that list of games, Total Eclipse is not a game that stands out.
Well, the big thing there is like it's like Total Eclipse, that's cool, but there's also Ace Combat.
Ridge, there's Air Combat. I mean, even beyond that, there's Rayman, there's Ridge Racer, like those games are much more. The NBA Jam, which was hot shit at the time. So it's like, there's more interesting stuff to play.
It's really funny that one of the greatest Air Combat series of all time had its launch on PlayStation at the same time.
Yeah.
Air Combat or Ace Combat as it's known everywhere else.
Mm-hmm. But Ace Combat didn't really get kicking until later, though.
Not until 2, but it's still the groundwork was there.
Yeah. So
when it all of a sudden decided it's going to be just this goofy series in like a parallel world that's basically Earth, but not. It's a strange reel, as they call it.
So yeah, it tried to get ahead of it to be more successful on PlayStation, but really its legacy is it's a 3DO game.
It's a
That's
3DO
what people
game.
know it as.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a 3DO game. It's got that look that just screams 3DO.
Yeah.
It's like that 3D that's like, it's 3D, but it looks almost like it's 2D trying to be 3D.
Yeah, a little bit, but it has like a clean look that I think has aged better than some of the other games on this system, Like you look at it, you're like, it doesn't look too bad.
Yeah.
Some of the early 3D stuff doesn't look great, but the pre-rendered sprites that they're using and all that look pretty good.
It's kind of like how I love the 5th generation of consoles because like all the systems were legitimately different that era, and they all did.
Yeah,
they all handled 3D very differently, and it's a cool thing where like you can look at a game from each console, and you can tell which game console that came from. Like PlayStation had a distinct look, Saturn had a distinct look, N64 had a very distinct look.
3DO had a
the look.
distinct look.
Hell, even Jaguar did.
I mean, because Jaguar had some 3D stuff on it, so and they all were approaching this new technology in vastly different ways with varying degrees of success.
That's why there's only famously between like the big three of that era, the PlayStation, Saturn, and N64, there's like a handful. I can only think of two off the top of my head games that came out on all three. Like the only two I can think of right away are Mortal Kombat Trilogy and Duke Nukem 3D.
Didn't Resident Evil 2 come out on all of them?
Resident Evil 2 was not on Saturn. It was on Dreamcast instead.
Oh, it was Resident Evil 1 was on Saturn.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
But wasn't on N64. It's like one of those weird things.
Yeah. If only it was Resident Evil 1, because then people would use that to directly compare all three games to see what how they handle this early 3D game.
Yeah, because like the most easy one to look at is probably Duke 3D, because like Duke 3D is actually really funny to look at it on all three systems, because like the PlayStation version is like basically a straight port of the original PC, to the point where if you look up, it goes all Funhouse Mirror because the build engine wasn't supposed to look up.
Yeah.
And then the Saturn version was built off of Lobotomy Software's Slave Driver engine, the Power Slave engine, and it has its own distinct look. And then the N64 version was actually built true 3D, so it actually like has its own 3D design, and it's also silent and heavily censored. But it's still fun.
Yeah. Duke 3D is still a fun game.
But Total Eclipse. I've never actually played the sequel, Solar Eclipse. I do own it. So I don't know if it's any.
We should play it for the show later on down the road.
Yeah, at some point. I mean,
when we're scraping for content, this will be a good one to revisit. Because I like the cover. It still is trying to look like Total Eclipse, but they just threw in a random dude with like a plane helmet on. Yeah, which says to me, "Oh, Ace Combat got more popular."
Yeah. Love that the Japanese and European name for it is Titan Wars. Like.
That's a cool name, but it doesn't fit this game.
No, not at all.
The reception of this game at the time.
It's really funny because it's one of those situations where the PS1 version is probably better, but like it got worse reviews than the 3DO version.
Yeah. Again, I think it's just people had higher expectations out of the PS1 than the 3DO.
Yeah, it's actually somewhat mixed, surprisingly. All Game gave it 3.5 stars. EGM gave it a 6.5 out of 10. Famitsu gave it a 23 out of 40. And Next Generation didn't review the 3DO version, but gave the PS1 version a 2 stars.
Yeah, according to this, for EGM, they highly praised the graphics, but criticized that the controls are too sensitive. The music is inappropriate for the theme of some stages.
Bullshit.
Disagree.
Bullshit.
I
fucking love that.
Yeah, and that the hit detection is overly punishing. I agree with the controls being a bit too sensitive and the hit detection being kind of funky. I will agree with that. Especially that one boss, I think it's somewhere in the second world, that's just like the giant face. And you're like, what the fuck do I shoot? And you find out, oh, I can only shoot his eyes when they're red. Like that boss sucked. Yeah, and there's a few instances of the game being kind of weirdly picky in that regard, but it doesn't drag the game down nearly as bad for me.
Like, it's a good game, but it does have that 1994 jank to it.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. GamePro, they also really like the graphics, found little to complain about with the gameplay, and concluded Total Eclipse blasts off into a familiar fighting space. It blasts off into familiar fighting space ways, but the graphic look of this cool shooter is truly out of this world. A fucking 2-year-old write this? Yeah. It's so funny that they threw turbo in the fucking title for the PS1 version because there's nothing turbo about it.
Yeah, it's just a straight port.
Yeah, they could just call it Total Eclipse. Like, nobody would have cared.
Oh, and Bob Mackey of US Gamer listed Total Eclipse Turbo as the worst launch game for the PlayStation.
I don't know if I'd agree with that. I haven't played all those games that I listed.
I mean, it's nostalgic, but Battle Arena Toshinden is kind of jank as fuck. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, those are some fighting games that did not age very well, and I'm sure some of those sports games are not good. So, but yeah, that's Total Eclipse. A cool, fun game that could be seen. It's I wouldn't necessarily call it a tentpole release for the console, but I think as far as if you're somebody who owns the console and wants, some other games to play, I think this is a good like additional game to have. As we said, like a pack-in kind of a thing where it's like, oh, I bought this for like, Gex or some of the bigger games, but you have this and you're like, this is a cool game. I like it.
Yeah, because I mean, you got to remember too, this was a very early game, so the people that bought the system just dropped $700, and they had crash and burn.
I think if they had Total Eclipse, they wouldn't feel as bad.
They wouldn't have been as downright disappointed, probably.
Exactly. They're like, at least this is a fun game, not a perfect game, but a fun game.
For 94, I could see having a lot of fun. Like if this was your only
for 94, it's a 7.
Yeah. Now, for must play, okay, stay away. I'm going to say it's a must play for the system.
I would agree. I think so.
It's not perfect. I mean, no 3DO game is perfect. Let's be real. Except for Plumbers Don't Wear Ties, though. That game's a fucking masterpiece.
Well, a lot of the really good games are available elsewhere as well.
Yeah.
So
it's I think I still think
I think we can recommend this version over the PS1 version.
Yeah, I mean it feels better. This is a game that just like it's one of those games that despite probably being better on PlayStation, it just feels like a 3DO game.
It's the same with Gex, even though Gex is better on Saturn or PlayStation 1 compared to 3DO, but
Yeah.
It's vibes. It's all about vibes.
I mean, hell, even like Alone in the Dark, as jank as that game is, I still liked playing it on 3DO more than PC. So
fair enough.
But yeah, definitely must play. Like it's not like I still think like the pinnacle of 3DO exclusives is still like Escape from Monster Manor. Like that's still I think the pinnacle 3DO exclusive that's still exclusive.
Yeah. And because it's owned by EA, it'll never see the light of day.
Probably not. Probably not.
Gross.
But so for next week, we agree quarantine next week?
Yes, we did.
Okay. So next week we're going to be playing Quarantine, and I am looking forward to this one.
As am I.
The hype for it is getting a little concerning because people are hyping this one up, so I'm going to be very disappointed if it doesn't live up to that hype. But I'm hoping this game is good because goddamn, that is still like one of the most striking box arts I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we'll get to it in the episode.
I mean, when you posted it in the Discords, people are like, "Ooh, what is that?"
Because it's just like you look at that and you're like, "What the fuck?" Like literally, the reason I wanted to wait till I got a physical copy is just because that box art is so. It's if I'd seen it on the shelf as a kid, I would have never been able to get it because holy shit. I would have been like,
we'll talk about it when we get there.
Yeah, it is something. But before we sign off, Thrak Ops episode 2 just came out.
Yes. Yes. The second episode of Thrak Ops is out where I talk about Call of Duty Finest Hour. If you have not listened to it, wherever you are listening to this podcast, you can go listen to Thrak Ops. So I recommend it.
Link down in the description.
It might be the finest hour. It maybe not. I don't know. You gotta go find out. So yeah.
Nice.
So please go listen to that.
Yep. Link down in the description below. And with that, everybody, once again, thank you for joining us on the 3DO experience. So you can
goddamn fly in this room.
You can find the 3DO experience on all the major podcasting platforms, particularly Apple Podcast and Spotify. Be sure to check us out over on the Superpod Network. That is superpodnetwork.com. Awesome site with a ton of awesome shows. I guess I'll shout them out while we're here. Fans of Superpod Saga, they have now rebranded as Super Ghost. Be sure to keep checking them out, as always. And ignore the scroll down below. I haven't edited it yet. But anyways, guys, once again, check out all those awesome friends over on the Superpod Network. And with that, once again, guys, we will see you all later.
Bye-bye.
If you're not playing on a 3DO system, what are you playing with?